Hello and welcome everyone. Happy Friday. We are here with another Pasolivo Happy Hour edition of our cooking kitchen. I'm Eleanor and I am so excited because today we have Tony Bennett from Alchemists Garden joining us. If you have visited the Paso area, if you have gone to and interacted with the nightlife of Paso Robles at any point, you know Tony. I know you do. Tony is just a staple in Paso, I feel like, and he is blessing us with his magic today. Alchemist Garden, he is co-owner of, and he is a mixologist magician, let's put it that way. He is going to be showing us to make magic so you can do something at home. So there we go, with olive oil and with nut crumbs. This is the first time we're adding nut crumbs to the mix. Hi, Tony.
Hi, guys.
Can you flip yourself so that you're not falling off the screen?
Yes, give me just a moment for that.
Okay, or I'll do it this way and we'll really mess with the viewers.
Okay, yeah, no, give me just a moment. I'm gonna reset this guy.
You reset. I'm still going to talk about you and sing your praises. So Alchemist Garden is a location smack dab downtown Paso. I know you guys have walked by it, if nothing else. If you have checked it out, there's usually a line to get in. It is well worth it. I want to make sure I cover this. Alchemist Garden. So alchemy is the power of transforming something common into something special. It just makes sense that Alchemist Garden chose that name to create kind of a magical feel for their restaurant, for their drinks, for what they pull together. So I think it's a group of two couples that pulled together and created this. Oh, bye, Tony. I'm sure they'll be back. They're figuring out the alchemy of joining us live. So they have been open. They opened smack dab in the middle of COVID, and they have done amazingly. And it speaks a lot to their food, their drinks, their quality, their passion that they've put into this location. If you go in, you have to take a few minutes to look around and see everything. Everything is Instagram worthy. Everything is, I mean, I've taken a million, guilty pleasure here. I've taken a million selfies in there because all of the backgrounds are gorgeous. Their French fries, if you go there and you don't have the French fries, you are absolutely missing out. But their drinks are amazing. Their food's amazing. I had a bone marrow dish. I know. That was fantastic. And they gave the option of keeping the bone and creating a luge, like a shot out of the bone after you had finished the bone marrow. Let that simmer for a little bit. So we'll get them back on. What he's going to be working with today, two things that you've seen in the store, but we haven't been focusing much on them in our lives. So I'm glad you guys are with us today because we're using the lemon olive oil. So that's the Meyer lemon olive oil. Gorgeous, great to bake with, great to cook with. I do hummus with this. I do fish with this. I do blueberry muffins with this. So I use a ton. I use this for a ton of different things. It's a Meyer lemon. So it's that beautiful walk between savory and sweet. You can go either way with this. Asparagus, artichoke, Brussels sprouts, amazing. With that being said, he's also bringing in the nut crumbs. Okay, so I talked a little bit about this last week, saying, hey, this is what's coming down the pike. The nut crumbs are an amazing breadcrumb alternative. So they're gluten-free, they're paleo, they're vegan, and I am none of those things, and I cook with these more often than anything else. I like the flavor of it. I love the way that they toast up. I love the fact that they are healthy and they are giving you a little extra boost of protein. So it's it's an added bonus. I've breaded fish with this. I've made meatballs with this, turkey meatballs. We've done a ton with these. So I've put this, mixed it with our sugar and spice blend and some other crumble type thing like granola to put on top of pies. So you can use it, put it in Greek yogurt with honey, with our orange blossom honey. You can use these for a ton of things, and apparently you can use them for cocktails as well. So we get to sit back and watch it being done, because honestly, I feel like there are a ton of words that Tony used to describe his cocktail that I didn't even understand. So that's the magic of Tony. He will be here to explain it so that I don't have to, because I can't. Hi, oh gosh, look at that background. Okay, so guys, this is what I'm talking about.
Hi guys.
Hi, welcome Tony. Thank you for figuring it out.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, you are all set. I mean, I've already told everybody about your guys' fries. I've already told everybody that it is a location that is gorgeous and needs to be visited for a drink, for food, for both. If you can get in, because there's always a line, or if you can get into a table, because now it's outside. But you guys are still going strong, right?
We are still going strong.
Can you hear me?
We're dealing with the same elements that everybody else has been. For the restaurant game, it's a challenge, but we're hungry to keep this place alive and to continue bringing you guys awesome food and cocktails. So we're fighting for it.
Awesome. I'm excited to see what you're doing today, and I think we're all looking forward to it because, I mean, I know, I'm privy to the fact that you are a, cocktail magician. A lot of people watching different states may not know this, so they're about to find this out. But you also, I mean, you are award-winning, I want to say. Is that correct?
Well,
Am I making this up? I feel like that's accurate, right?
I have competed in many competitions. I have won some. Andrew as well, who is the actual creator of this cocktail. We co-manage and run the bar program here, as we're pretty much entirely owned by bartenders, which is super cool. We've had an opportunity to work in a variety of different aspects of the bar world, from sports bars and nightclubs to the craft element that we now see today is probably like the forefront of what bartending has become. This has been a really, really fun opportunity for us to bring something like this to our area, Paso. It's a smaller community, so watching the evolution of what bars have done in larger cities surrounding us and seeing how it's trickled here and become very, very well accepted has been wonderful. I know you guys have seen a couple bodies too. We are open for service right now for lunches, so I have a few of my bartenders floating around back here with me.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for fitting us in. That it's even better because people are watching everything really happen, so it's almost like they're there.
Cool. Well, that's what we hope for, right? And then we get to have you in here at some point, hopefully at the bar soon.
Exactly. It's a good place to be. Chatting to you, Tony, and having any of your drinks is kind of a moment. It is one of those necessary things when you come to Paso. Sit down at the bar, chat to Tony. So hopefully we will get these restrictions lifted so people can actually experience that. But for now, this is the closest, and this will work for now.
Perfect. Well, we got something fun for it, so it should be good.
Let's get going.
All right, so what we're going to be jumping into here is a really fun cocktail made with some local whiskey. The refined wheat is kind of what our choice has been. This is from Alex up there at Jicama. Refined is their brand, and we've paired that with the Citra olive oil. So this is a really, really fun, bright profile. And if you guys aren't familiar with emulsions, which many people may not be, it's not something commonly done. But an emulsion is a creation of an ingredient utilizing a binding process. So you can see that there's this trickle through the glass here, and it has these super, super fine bubbles. As this is shaken, it allows us to bring that back together, and you'll see a natural separation. But traditionally, you'll see an oil separate from anything else that's water-based. This is an issue that you see with the way the molecules interact with one another. So using an immersion blender allows us to tie the olive oil to the turbinado, creating a turbo emulsion using your olive oils from Pasolivo. to kind of help enhance the density and the mouthfeel of an old-fashioned. It gives us a really, really cool ability to create flavors and dynamic characteristics that you wouldn't normally be able to achieve just by adding to a glass and stirring or mixing, due to the fact they would separate, or a lot of times some of these ingredients can actually stick to the ice cube. So honey is a good example of this. If you use just a raw honey instead of like a honey syrup or a honey dome that is designed to blend into the ingredient well, a lot of times it'll stick to the ice cubes and it'll solidify in there because of the temperature change. So you'll see a little bit less balance of what you would want to achieve just based on the fact that it's struggling to mix with the other ingredients in the glass.
Huh. So how long is that together for? How long do you keep that together for?
This was just on last night. Emulsions, typically I find the majority of them are only going to last for roughly 4 days at the maximum. You'll see different types of emulsions will react different ways. So this is an example of our Jicama emulsion. So same idea where you want to shake this and separate that. But you'll see this one right here. This has a little bit more of a granulated texture because jicama is a root vegetable juice, but this is still an emulsion that's done with olive oil and sugar. So the creation of these, you typically want to keep very, very fresh so that you maintain the quality. And as it separates, you'll run into the same problem as you had before you actually created the emulsion itself, where they want to separate from one another, so it's very difficult to get balance throughout the cocktail. But with that being said, I believe we should go ahead and create a cocktail now.
Let's do this.
All right, so I always like to start with some of my smaller ingredients first. So let's season it. We're going to do 3 dashes of aromatic orange bitters. Then we're going to do 2 dashes of Angostura. So now we're playing in traditional old-fashioned realm. Now because we're going to use a little bit of sherry in this cocktail as well, we're going to do 1.5 ounces of the refined wheated whiskey. And then a 1/2 ounce. This is a cream sherry. The sherry is actually going to carry a little bit of density to it as well. So we have a 1/2 ounce of the cream sherry. And then we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of our turbinado emulsion. So you can see the density that carries. And turbinado, for anybody who is curious, is a heavier, richer syrup that carries more in the rock syrup property. So it's going to be that molassesy characteristic that really plays well with a lot of different cocktails. It's better used with things that are going to be a darker nature. So anything that spends time in oak is usually a good option. But you'll want to avoid it with a lot of cocktails that might be using clear bases like vodka, gin, even some lighter rums that are super clean, like French agricoles. Those are things that you'll use a traditional cane syrup. So this allows us to play really nicely with the sherry and that binding with the ingredient. Now this is going to be...
So the emulsion is kind of standing in for a simple syrup kind of concept?
Yes, it is actually an olive oil simple syrup. It's really what the base is.
Okay, nice. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, super, super fun. So there's 2 additional parts to this actual cocktail. Before we put ice in there, we are going to do a couple of Luxardo cherries, and these are Pasolivo traditional Nut Crumbs. So we're just going to roll Luxardo cherries in this. We're going to do 2 of them. So the natural syrup on the cherry itself is going to allow it to have a really fun texture as you consume the cocktail. This is one of the really important things that we like to do with our beverages. Is anytime we have an ingredient that has great flavor, it's delicious. But if you can enhance that texture, you really take an advantage of everything the human palate's able to perceive and enjoy. So this, for us, is a really big aspect of how we create our drinks here. So I'm going to get these guys seared really quick so they are ready to go. And they'll just hang out and wait there. Something good to do at home too, especially when you guys are new to doing cocktails. Try to focus on prepping as much of your ingredients ahead of time so that once you start your creation process, it's a little more simple as you get into consumption. And then our second will be, we have our smoking gun. We're using a Breville Poly-Si and a little bit of our maple wood chip, and we're going to smoke this using a cloche after we've completed the drink. So you want to ice down your cocktail ingredients in your Japanese mixing glass. I personally really like to use a spoon. I'm going to go 20 times each direction. And what this is, because this is going to give in my opinion, an adequate amount of chill, as well as an adequate amount of dilution for the cocktail. Too much. Sorry, go ahead.
So Tony, you're not shaking it.
No, this is a stir drink. This is an old fashioned.
It's a stir drink. Okay, you don't shake an old fashioned. Everybody, write that down.
There's some general rules you follow in the bar world, and one of those rules is try not to destroy the integrity of your alcohol, depending on what it is that you're creating. This one in particular, as an old fashioned, a Manhattan, a good rule of thumb is if you simply don't have citrus in the drink, start with a stir technique, unless it's something someone's taught you how to make before.
Got it.
So from here, we have this.
Learning new things every day, people.
See that oil has allowed it to bind successfully because of the emulsion to the ingredients that we've mixed it with. So the resulting effect is uniform clarity of the drink. You can see there's no separation as you come up on that. And now, for the fun part, which is the magic, a lot of people really like smoked drinks. It's become a very popular thing in many, many bar communities. But one of the things that you want to really think about when you do it is when you smoke a glass, typically smoking a glass, you'll get a wonderful amount of your aromatic, but that aromatic is simply going to dissipate very quickly because glass is non-porous. If you smoke an entire cocktail, ethanol, the primary ingredient of your alcohol, is actually fat soluble, so it will bind to a lot of the esters and the oils in that smoke, and you'll get this gorgeous profile. Sorry, there's a little traffic out here today, guys.
Oh, the Paso traffic is ridiculous.
Right. So you have this incredibly fun profile, and you can contrast your flavors appropriately based on what you're chasing. So with using a turbinado, you have that more molasses-driven base, but also the brightness of a citric profile olive oil, which are super cool because it's unique. You don't always see olive oils that carry very, very robust flavors. It's usually more subtleties in the style. So getting an opportunity to bind this with a whiskey that's especially coming from a high wheat mash, so it's very arid, super aromatic. It's not as sharp, but it's also not nearly as sweet as a traditional bourbon. The maple lends that sweet, soft aromatic to the nose, texture from the garnish with the olive oil, and the breadcrumb that's rolled on the Luxardo cherries, and then the cream and soft element from the sherry really helps create a mouthfeel that you can tell is meant for a season like fall and winter. Sure, it wouldn't be delicious during the summer.
Oh my gosh. See, usually you don't get to experience the magic with the smoke and everything. And guys, if you were there, you'd be smelling it. And I can promise you it smells amazing. Been there, done that a million times. And it is fantastic. And it's one of those things, again, I was talking about taking selfies all over Alchemists Garden when I'm there. Same thing about every time you sit at the bar and watch this magic happen. You're going to be taking videos. You're going to be taking pictures because it's just something you want to share. It's an experience. It's not just another drink. It's not just a Jack and Coke or something. These are drinks to be savored. So as you can see, a lot of love and a lot of passion goes into it. I love the fact that we've got refined in there because that is a local product. It's, again, made with passion and love. And then our olive oil is in there. So that's that Meyer lemon olive oil that's just beautiful. Again, we're not infusing any of our oils. It's oil to oil. So that means that that flavor is going to stay strong and beautiful, whether you're cooking with it or making cocktails with it. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Tony.
Yeah, no problem.
Again, hopefully you guys will be open inside soon, but you guys are outside open outside right now for lunch and dinner.
Yeah. So we started opening at 1 o'clock once they began with the 10 o'clock curfew. So we're doing lunch from 1 to 9, just rotate straight into dinner. We have a front patio, a back patio, and we've been using our vine wall on the side as well. So busier nights like tonight, we're trying to help keep those wait times down for everybody and make sure we can get our customers in to enjoy themselves in a safe environment. That's really the biggest thing for us, very paramount.
I was telling the audience that I had a bone marrow plate that then was offered as a luge as well. Is that something you guys are still doing?
Oh yes, the bone marrow plate's very, very fun. That's definitely going to be one of those things I've seen in restaurants where they're a lot of variety in size. So we've really tried to chase down one that has a substantial amount of the marrow, and the channel's big enough so the luge is a vodka and Cynar rye cheddar base. So the concept is a little bit of ethanol to strip some of the fat from that beautiful, beautiful marrow out of the bone, as well as the digestive properties, as that is a richer, heavier ingredient on the stomach. So Cynar is a classic digestif, which is meant to assist with that. So it's just a really fun pairing, and it's something you don't see at a lot of places. We've loved it the few times we've seen it, but they have been far and in between.
It's quite the experience. I mean, the fact that you're taking, there's some upcycling going on. There's some real kind of intention and interaction with the food that you're eating and how you're doing it. So that was quite the experience. And that's why I love coming to you guys, because you do have plates that inspire thoughts and are not going to be the same thing that you're going to find everywhere else.
Yeah, all of that credit goes to Danelle Drazinski. She is amazing at what she does. She's incredible in the kitchen. She's an awesome person to just be friends with and hang out and have a drink with. And that's how we all became friends. And this opportunity gave us a chance to work with her and let her creativity in the kitchen shine, and really just try to pair and work with our bar and vice versa, where we get to utilize ingredients from both sides. It makes it really fun when we want to play with things like sherry or an olive oil, because this is something that you might not see as frequently in a bar. They're a little harder to find places that are going to utilize those types of things. So that might be more from the culinary world. But getting an opportunity to where those things can be cross-utilized, it also enhances our opportunity to create pairings to the dishes. And she's done some incredible ones.
Yeah, I mean, it really speaks to everybody kind of uniting and creating that alchemy, hence the name.
Yeah, and this, I also want to make sure, I think I started to touch on it earlier, but this is one of Andrew Brune's creations. He came up with this cocktail to kind of showcase what you guys did, as well as the season that we were coming into in a very unique way. So the emulsions are something that he really likes to work with, and we don't see a lot of those around. Many bars that I've traveled to all over the United States, emulsions are still one of the harder to find ingredients. So definitely encourage you guys to kind of toy with that. And if you find yourself struggling with it, we've always got a few ingredients here to make that happen for you and show you guys what it should really taste like.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of cocktails with shrubs, which is vinegar based, and then the emulsions are olive oil based.
Emulsions are typically oil and water based. It's not necessarily just olive oils. It's used to bind an oil with a water soluble ingredient. So the immersion blenders are those stick blenders, and it actually pulls the ingredients to the center and pushes around, so it kind of sucks it down through the top, and that's what forces the usually non-compatible ingredients to bind to one another, is that super high rotation of volume of the two liquids. So you have to add it in very, very small amounts. Like, we'll have a container, and it is an extremely small trickle. So it does take a little bit of time to make, because if you add too much, it'll typically clump, and once that begins to happen, you end up struggling binding them.
Got it. Wow, this is, I mean, I knew this too. The minute that I heard that you guys were going to be on, I knew that it was going to be a chemistry lesson, a cocktail, a mixology lesson, and everything in between. So I'm not let down at all. Thank you, Tony.
Cool. That is why we like to do this. We get to share something, we get to learn something, and honestly, seeing the look on someone's face the first time they try something unexpected, that's really the reason why all of us have stayed in this for as long as we have, and want to, for the rest of our lives, essentially.
Yeah, and that's why we keep coming back too. So that's a fact, is that's why we keep coming back, is because of that look.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being able to take time from your crazy schedule to have our stuff on there and be live with us. Hopefully that means that, I mean, I know we've got people from Hawaii, from Colorado, from overseas watching. So
cool. Wow,
it's fantastic to think that they're all experiencing you right now. And this is going to be on our YouTube channel. This goes onto our Instagram and our Facebook. So a lot of other people are going to be able to experience you. So it's fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the opportunity. It was fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for showing us your skills. Happy holidays. I guess I can say that now. And good luck with everything outside, outdoors. I know if you guys have options on where to go, definitely check their stuff out, because it is amazing. Start there for a drink and you probably are not going to leave. You probably had reservations somewhere else for dinner, and then you're going to stay there. That's what's going to happen. But start for a drink, and you'll get sucked in. It's a promise. Thank you, Tony. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the rest of the nut crumbs because we have a whole bunch of them, and I want to make sure I cover them all. But I know that you are in a kind of the slam of a Saturday, or sorry, a Friday. So if you need to go, I totally understand. I wanted to make sure I covered the fact that the nut crumbs, we have 4 different types. We've got the spicy, we've got the original, which is what Tony used to kind of change up the mouthfeel of those cherries. There's also the coconut curry and the Italian. This is the first time I've really truly dug in depth about what the differences are between them. So the original has pistachios, almonds, cashews, pepper, and kosher salt. So that can be used for savories, for sweets. I've used it on top of pies for crumbles. I've also used it in conjunction with other seasonings like the spring blend, the Italian blend, all of the blends that we have, the chimichurri that we have in store. But you can also use it by itself. Once we get into the spicy, for example, the spicy has cayenne pepper, chili powder, paprika, crushed red peppers, and garlic. So it's got a real kick to it. It is beautiful for wings, for mozzarella sticks, for stuffed jalapenos. We've also got the coconut curry nut crumbs. They are the yellow curry powder and coconut flakes in that. I mean, anything Thai works beautifully with it. Indian food works amazingly with it. So you can really kind of branch out and play. Honestly, any of these are good on top of hummus. Tony's bundle today with the lemon olive oil and the original nut crumbs. Make the hummus with this. If you look up how to make hummus, it ends up being embarrassingly easy and you'll never buy it again in the stores. And then the nut crumbs to put on top. And it's a fantastic, again, the mouthfeel of it is completely different. You're upping the protein quality and the health of what you're making. The Italian has the basil, garlic, and parsley in it as well. So it's a little bit less of a seasoning than our Italian seasoning, but it does definitely help for chicken parm, again, for mozzarella sticks. Let's see, for fish, I just learned about air fried avocado wedges. So you use egg whites or eggs, dip the avocado wedges in there, cover them with nut crumbs and put them in the air fryer. I know, I just blew your mind. It's okay, it happens. And then, yeah, meatballs, meatloaf, all of the basic stuff, crab cakes. So we've got coconut curry, spicy, Italian, original, all amazing. Definitely worth putting into your club bundle for next time. Speaking of next time, next week we have executive chef Jeff, get my mouth around that one, from Lone Madrone Winery. He is going to be making a holiday side that sounds amazing. Brown butter farro with spiced acorn squash using our tangerine olive oil and our soon-to-be-released barrel-aged bourbon maple syrup, which is also amazing in cocktails and old fashions like Tony made today. So that is one that you definitely need to stick with us for because it's going to be an easy side to pull together really quickly for family, friends, potlucks, or just like drop-off food that you're doing for friends. So we've got some good stuff coming down the pike. Definitely, if you want any of these bundles, hop online. If you want the recipe for today, the cocktail from Alchemists Garden was called My Sherry Old Fashioned because they're using sherry in it. So another cool addition to it, as well as the emulsion technique, which is something really cool. You'll probably want to bookmark this and watch it over again so you're listening to Tony explain it a bit further when you've got your hands dirty and getting involved in it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Alchemist Garden. You guys are fantastic. I am obviously a huge fan, and I think we've probably developed a few more fans today. So have a fantastic weekend, and yeah, keep sharing that Alchemist love with everybody.
That we will. Thank you for having us. We'll look forward to doing another one of these at some point with you.
Yes, let's bring out the luges.
Perfect. We'll have them ready.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you this time next week. Bye.